This is Hebrews 6 and 17. Wherein power, willing more abundantly to show unto the heirs of promise the immutability of his counsel, confirmed by an oath. Call halal Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rechahak Radash. Double honors to the other apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, for teaching this word in truth and sincerity. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered abroad, and peace and salutations to the sincere Akim that's pushing this word in truth and sincerity. To you I say Shalom. The word immutable, when you go into it, it means, this is just a broad spectrum of the word. When you look it up, immutability is the state or quality of being unchangeable. When something is immutable, it cannot be modified, altered, or deleted after its creation. This concept is highly valued across several industries for ensuring reliability, security, and consistency. Now, let's look that up as it relates to the scriptures. And this is a Google AI overview. In the Bible, immutability means that God, which is Yahweh, His only begotten Son Yahweh Shai, the Elohim, which means powers, is completely unchangeable in his creator, in his character, purpose, and promise. Read that again. In the Bible, immutability means that God is completely unchanging in his character, purposes, and promises, because he is perfect. He cannot change for the better or the worst. It is the foundation that ensures believers can completely trust his word, as he will never break a promise or alter his essential nature. So let's look up oath. An oath is a solemn promise or statement of fact, often made in a legal, civil, or religious context, pledging that what you say is completely true, or that you will faithfully execute a duty. So, with that being said, the word of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, is unchangeable. It cannot be changed. It cannot be altered. He cannot lie. He does not lie. And he made a promise. He made an oath. He made a covenant with a certain group of people, a certain lineage that came from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, known as the 12 tribes of Israel. So when you hear the word covenant, it was only given to one specific group of people. Now, when you're reading in the beginning of in Genesis, there was a covenant made with Noah and all flesh. But by the time Jacob had his Jacob, his name was changed to Israel. When he had his sons, these were nations of people that were given a covenant, that was given an oath, made a promise to, you know. They were to go into the land given to them by Yahweh. And they were supposed to live there. They were supposed to exalt the name of the Lord, call upon the Lord, execute his judgments, you know. They were supposed to perform sacrifices unto the Lord. That land was promised to them. That is that Levant area, that land of Canaan, Palestine, what is known as Israel. And that covenant was made with only these group of people. So with Hebrews 6 and 17, when you read that, what makes you think that his word has changed? So the covenant will be given to a new group of people, you know, that a new group of people would inherit the promise. So you got a lot of these Christians and Catholics and all these other different heathen religions. They're all trying to stick a claim in the Bible, in the scriptures, and trying to take hold of what's not theirs, that was never given to them. This is Psalms 147, verses 19 and 20. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He have not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh. This is letting you know that he's only dealing with the nation of Israel. He's not dealing with all these other heathen nations. He's not dealing with Hamites. He's not dealing with Elamites. He's not dealing with Moabites, Ammonites, Ishmaelites. He's not dealing with Esau. He's not dealing with Edomites. He's only dealing with the house of Israel, the house of Jacob. Hebrews 10 and 16. This is the covenant that I will make with them after those days, saith Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. I will put my laws into their hearts, and in their minds will I write them, and their sins and iniquities will I remember no more. So this covenant, it was only given to a certain group of people. So it's baffling how all these different heathen nations want to try to take claim to something that doesn't belong to them. Especially Esau Edom, you know he's going to try to steal anything that's not glued to the ground, you know. Even if it's glued to the ground, he'll pry it up and steal it and rename it and say he did it, you know, he made it. So, you know, he's a perpetual liar. He's a forger of lies and a physician of no value. That's Job 13 and 4. So we already know this, you know what I'm saying, that nation of people are just, they are the wicked. You know, the earth was given into the hands of wicked, Job 9 and 24. These are those people. So they're going to do whatever they possibly can to try to steal, you know, the heritage and culture and land and everything from another group of people, which they have done to the true biblical Israelites, which are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that were, and also the scattered Israelites that were, you know, scattered amongst all these different heathen nations, you know. So there's only one group of people whose sins you know, were wiped clean through Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, through his sacrifice, through his blood sacrifice of giving himself as that blood sacrifice for our sins. So there's only one group of people that apply to. It doesn't apply to the whole world. Now, Israelites were scattered amongst all these heathen nations across the world. And that's when the Lord, Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, will separate the sheep from the goats in that day. You know, when nuclear destruction is upon Babylon and those missiles are headed for Babylon, the angels are going to sort all that out. They're going to sort out those scattered Israelites that's living amongst these heathens, living in these heathen nations, and look like these heathens, you know, because of the scattering. We're going to look like all these different nations. This is Hebrews 8, and I'm going to read 7 through 10. For if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. For finding fault with them, he saith, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord, Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a God. I will be to them a power, and they shall be to me a people. So we fell out of that first covenant, you know. We were so wicked at one point that the Lord actually wanted to get rid of us, man. He even suggested that to Moses, like, just let me get rid of him. I'm about to get rid of him. And Moses had to plead our case, you know. He had to step in as a mediator between the Most High and our forefathers, because of our wickedness, because of the things that we did. Because we wouldn't hold fast to the covenant. We wouldn't hold fast to the oath. We broke all the laws, you know. We were just performing wickedness, man, in the sight of the Lord, you know. So Yahweh Shai had to be that sacrifice for us, because if not, then, you know, we wouldn't be able to behold that particular part of the covenant, man, of sacrificing, you know, the first unblemished, you know, sheep, lamb, goat. We wouldn't be able to perform that in this particular society, man. You know, you'll get locked up for animal cruelty, man. They'll put you underneath the jail. And then on top of that, we committed so many atrocities on a daily basis. There's not enough cattle, you know. There's not enough livestock to even perform that. To perform that sacrifice for the Lord. And then at the same time, the Lord said he was sick of our sacrifices and our oblations and burning incense, and, you know, he got sick of it because, you know, look how wicked our people are, man. Even to this day, they wicked as hell. You could tell them the truth. You can, you know, break it down to them, and they still going about their way and do whatever it is that they heart desire, you know, trying to please themselves in this world, trying to be a better citizen of Babylon, man. So he had to, you know, he had to be, he had to allow Yahweh Shai to be that sacrifice. And with that new covenant comes, perfect beings, man. So that when we enter the kingdom of heaven, which is a righteous kingdom, a righteous government that will rule here on earth, it's not some mythical place in the sky, man. It's an actual government that will rule and be governed by Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, and King David, and you'll have the first fruits, which is the Lord's elect, which will make up the 144,000, the 1/3. And they will, they will rule in righteousness, and they will be given that new covenant. Right now, we are not in the new covenant because our bodies are not perfect. Our minds are not perfect. So when World War III is at the doorstep, when those missiles are being launched, and Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, when Yahweh Shai and the angels are in those chariots, and they deliver their elect, they deliver their elect from the four corners of the earth. That's when you will be made perfect. That's when your body will become immortal. That's when your mind will be made perfect. You will be given the laws that will be written in your inward parts, which means in your mind, it will be written in your mind. You will never be able to go off again. That's when we enter into that new covenant. And it's only given to the house of Israel and the house of Judah. The house of Israel being the northern 10 tribes, and Judah being Benjamin and Judah and Benjamin. So now you also have Levi, which is included, but Levi was scattered amongst, Israel. They didn't their land was with the Lord, while the other tribes had their blessing from the Lord, which is land and a stake of land. Levi was given their portion was the Lord. The Lord was their portion. So those make up the 12 tribes, the northern 10 tribes, and the two tribes of Judah and Benjamin in the south. And it's not given to any heathen nations. Not a one. This is Romans 11, verse 1. I say then, have power, have God cast away his people? Power forbid. For I am an Israelite, of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. And this is the Apostle Paul speaking. He's telling you his lineage. So this is the most, this is kind of a bugged out thing too, when you're dealing with all these different pagan religions and things of that nature, where they'll read this and for some reason they'll think, like, you read the scriptures, but they misconstrue them. They don't understand the wording. They refuse to go into the into the etymology of the words. But it's clearly telling you that the Lord is dealing with a particular group of people. He's not dealing with the world per se, according to this promise, according to his promise, according to the oath and covenant that he made with that particular group of people. It's not talking about indoctrinating the world and all the people of the world that is not of Israelite stock into this thing. Verse 7. What then say Salakia. What then Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for? But the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded. So you got a lot of Israelites that's seeking knowledge, that's seeking the truth, they looking for it, but they have a zeal, just like the scriptures say that people have a zeal for God, but not according to knowledge. So you got a lot of Israelites that have a zeal for the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, but they continuously go off, mainly by worshiping the pagan idol Jebus. They love them some Edomite Jebus, and they hold fast to that, So they are what you would call part of the 2/3 if they don't, if they're not part of the first fruits, if they're not of the elect, if they don't come out of that plantation Christianity, if you got a lot of them northern tribes that play around with that Roman Catholic nonsense, and it's all fairy tales, man. It's all based off fairy tales, and it's a stumbling block, and it's meant to keep you from obtaining, the truth. So only the elect is going to see through that nonsense and search for the truth, whether it be, coming up in this thing, coming up, reading the scriptures and finally getting to a point where, you had enough of that nonsense, or, the Lord directly just knocked on your door and brought you in. Those people will seek the truth and find it. A lot of those people will seek the truth and find it. That's the Lord's elect, and the rest, they'll hold fast to their pagan image, to their pagan doctrines, and it will be a stumbling block unto them, which it says the rest were blinded. So all you guys, all you people that hold fast to this plantation Christianity and all this other nonsense, all this other foolishness, and refuse to study to show thyself approved, 2 Timothy 2:15, you want to hold fast to your pagan images, your pagan idols, you want to hold fast to your false doctrine, then you will continue to be blinded, and that won't be a good fit for you when the day of the Lord, when the Lord returns. This is verse 26. And so shall all Israel be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach. That's who's the deliverer. He's coming to deliver his elect out of trouble. And that trouble is them nuclear missiles. He's coming to get his elect to make them perfect and give them new bodies and take the kingdom, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. So this is Romans 11:1, verse 1, verse 7, verse 26 again. I say then, have God cast away his people? God forbid. For I also am an Israelite, of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. What then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded. And so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. So all Israel, according to the promise, are slated for salvation. Some will have to pass, 2/3 will have to pass away on this side. 2/3 of Israel will have to be purified through those nuclear warheads, through that nuclear fire, and those laser beams from the chariots. They will have to be purified through fire to be born again in the kingdom, through the 1/3, the Lord's elect, his remnant, his predestination, his first fruit spirits, those that were there at the beginning, at the foundation of the earth. These are those spirits. They're back today. And this is that generation, man, where the Lord is gonna make his return. So these things here, like the new covenant, salvation, the Gentiles, all these things are stumbling blocks for the 2/3. The only thing you could say, man, is to study, man. Study to show thyself approved. Leave these fake pastors and phony churches alone that's only after your money. If there's a whole lot of singing and dancing and hooting and hollering and wallowing on the floor, you might want to leave that alone. You know what I mean? Your search for the truth, you didn't find it. If you're dealing with that, you didn't find it. If you're dealing with a church that can't get the MOTB right, you're dealing with a church that's talking about Apostle Paul fell out the truth. You don't have to subscribe to the writings of Apostle Paul. You don't John the Baptist fell out the truth. Moses fell out the truth. Man, you might want to run from them cats. I mean, you want to run with them with speed, because Salakia, they only after the filthy lucre, man. These are hucksters, man. You know what I'm saying? They only here to fill their bellies, man. They here to make it in this world. They want to make it in Esau's kingdom. This is not our rest. This is not our kingdom. This is our punishment. Our kingdom is soon to come. Our kingdom is going to be ran in righteousness, man. And all these heathens, Esau, Edom, and all these different nations will be in subjection unto the Israelites, which are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. So with that, I'd like to give all praises, all honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachahak Radash, Bad Babo.